Good morning. We're going to do this marsh scene today with the overhanging clouds. What I'd like you to do is picture this without the marsh, just the clouds, the sky and the clouds. It makes it a lot easier to paint that way, and then we add the clouds, the marsh later on. All right, we'll begin with the red and yellow, just putting some color in the sky before we get to those dark clouds. This is red and yellow with a touch of rose. That really bright area there. All right, we're going to get the clouds in here. This is ultramarine blue with a touch of Windsor blue. Just basically painting the shape of all those clouds. Don't worry about the thickness of it, no, the fluffiness. Just get the clouds in, get the shape you want, and then you can go in. We'll add a little rose, pick up all those edges, soften those edges, really work it, horizontally back and forth, adding more pigment here and there, lifting some out, use a dry brush, a moist brush, and lift out the light underneath those clouds to get that effect of, that sort of heavy effect of the clouds. All right, little rose in your brush now, just soften those edges and you can add little pieces of clouds falling off the edges. That always makes it more interesting, like so. Just filling up that sky. Okay, let that dry. Putting some color in the water down below. It reflects into this. That's the Essex River. So I wet it with actually a little blue on my water there, and a little yellow paint. And then we'll get some thick, this is Windsor blue with ultramarine blue. And just to get that reflection of the clouds in. It looks dark, but it's going to dry much, much lighter. Then we have the grasses growing in front of it and behind it. So just paint the shape right into the water and let it soften those edges for you. All right, I'm going back with a damp paper towel and just sort of creating a little bit of fluffiness in the clouds, getting rid of any hard edges, and All right, this is ultramarine with quinacridone sienna. Very dry. It's not very wet, so you don't want it flowing down, but you want it nice and heavy. And the reason for that is when we put the layer of grass down, we put that marsh in, the marsh will be wet, more wet than this, so we want that to flow. So we'll put that down, and then we'll give it a little spray, and it will flow down and give you some beautiful grassy effects. Okay, this is just raw sienna, and I'm going to bring that down and then kind of mix it with the edge of that dark stuff here. And that will give you a nice soft edge there. Okay, so cover that with the raw sienna. We'll get the bottom piece in as well. Just paint the shape for now. We're going to put the edges on in a minute. All right, I added a little bit of cobalt blue, and then I'm going to add a little touch of Windsor green for that top area. And I'm going to put it in now and just mix it with the raw sienna that's underneath it. Get the whole marsh covered. I'm going in horizontal shapes, strokes, so that it gives you a grass effect. All right. Put it down here as well. taking a damp brush and just picking up that top edge. It's getting more light up there, so you want to lighten that edge up a little bit. All right, give it a nice spray now, just a nice mist, and it'll start to come down by itself. While we're waiting for that to come down above, we'll take a small brush and start putting the grass in here. Go all the way up and use the side of your brush or the point, just create a bunch of grass movement. All right, I'm putting some almost black color on my brush now, very dry, and I'm just pushing up against the edge of the grass in certain areas to give it that look, especially up front here where it's close to you, and give it that look that the grass is overhanging on the earth, All right. Okay. You can see that grass starting to come down now. Keep it nice and moist. All right, I'm putting that back island in ultramarine with cobalt blue here. I'm sorry, cobalt blue with quinsienna. What I did was I used ultramarine and quinsienna to make the black, but then I charge it up with cobalt blue so that it looks like it's going back in the distance. You don't want it too dark or too warm, too black, All right, so I basically paint the shape of the island, there on the base, and then I'll mix a little raw sienna with that, or maybe a little quin gold even, to paint the top so that it's getting a little bit more light up there. And that will give you a little bit of the turn, All right, just a little bit raw sienna. Like I say, you could use quin gold. And if you want to get it a little brighter, add a drop of vermilion yellow, and that will really push that up. You can see how it gives you a little bit of turn of the grass on the top, so. Okay, just sort of blend it in. You can hit it with a couple of more dabs of cobalt blue. All right, so this is a cobalt blue on the left side. Just painting that, there's an island over here as well. Now over here, we want this island to go back a little bit, so that cobalt blue, and this is ultramarine on top, and we want to leave it, I'm going to leave it blue. You don't want to put any yellow in that because it will start to come forward. So we'll leave this blue island, and what I'm going to do here is just put a drop of gouache, of white gouache on there, and mix it in with the blue, and that will give it a sort of a cloudy look, misty look. All right, there's the gouache. You can see it. Soften that blue. Okay, and if you make it a little whiter on the right side, it goes back even further. All right, so mixing up the gouache with a little cobalt blue here for that distant hill, and I want it to be lighter. I kind of wanted to save that white back there so we have a sense of distance. So I just made the hillside a little bit lighter. Okay, so there we are. There it is. I hope you enjoyed that. That was a fun, clouds are always fun. Yeah, touching up, picking up the drips. All right, thank you. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learned a few things, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Please subscribe if you haven't, and give me a thumbs up. Awesome. See you later.